Good morning, day 105. At the time of this recording, it is Good Friday, April 15th, 2022. And why do we call it Good Friday? And the title of today's little devotion or message or learning is How to Calm Yourself Down. And it's kind of appropriate, I think, for today. And look at this, what God he's just bringing it all together. Look how calm that water is. It's like glass. It is completely still. I think our minds identify with water and stillness. As a matter of fact, maybe I'll... Gosh, it's just so beautiful. Maybe I'll turn around and just let you all look at it in the background. It's so peaceful. Wow. There's something our mind resonates with water. Like when the waves are choppy, that can be our thoughts, and the waves are big, it can just seem out of control but when our minds are calm, there's this stillness and our thoughts are we're okay. There's a lot of anxiety in the world today. A lot of big things that are happening that we don't fully understand. And that is how the people back in Jesus's day felt on this day that we remember. But yet we call it Good Friday. Why? Good morning. Because we know what happened afterwards. We know the result, and that in order to get that good result, this terrible thing did happen. And I was reading I read several Psalms this morning, but one that caught my attention was Psalm 131. It was kind of short. It was David talking about, when I get too proud and too haughty, and I start to concern myself, things that are not my business, that are above my pay grade, this is me putting it in my words, I get really anxious. But I have learned to notice when that's happening, and then I soothe myself like a weaned child that no longer cries for its mother's milk. And I remind myself, you shouldn't be concerning yourself with things that are this great and this awesome. That you're not God. There is a God, and you need to stay in your lane and worry about what you need to worry about and calm down. This is how we can calm down. If we find ourselves just in states of anxiety and oh my God, and overwhelm, that's one that I feel a lot is overwhelmed. I've got to take a deep breath and go, okay, is there pride happening here? Am I thinking that I'm in control of a situation that I'm really not in control of? Am I getting in somebody else's business? It's not always God's business. Sometimes it's just other people's business. I'm a fixer. I'm a natural, I'm a coach. I like to help people fix their things and sometimes give unsolicited advice. I'm automatically just focused on, hey, I can see this might be your problem. Let me help you. And they're not asking for my help. And I'm robbing them of them doing their own work. There's good stuff happening in the work. Just like on Good Friday, there's good stuff that's happening in the suffering, in the pain, in the figuring it out, that for individuals themselves. And they're going to have their Good Friday moment when they look back and go, oh, wow, I couldn't have had this great thing without going through this terrible thing. And sometimes we, in our goodness and niceness and kindness, we actually can rob people and keep people stuck by taking on too much ourselves. And then we are creating anxiety that we don't need to have. We don't need to walk around feeling anxious and overwhelmed. That is not what God designed for us. because that really takes us off of our own path and our own work. With all the new brain science that we're learning about the survival brain, the amygdala, and the higher executive state, we're learning that part of our survival self is actually creating a lot of drama and anxiety intentionally in an effort to actually serve and protect us. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. Because if you've got this big thing over here that you want to do, this dream or desire to accomplish, but it takes a lot of work, it might seem impossible, our brain doesn't like change in general. So it will say, no, the sky is falling, don't change. And in order to even get us distracted, because we know our higher self really wants it, we know God's calling us to it, that it's a good thing, but our survival brain then might create drama in our lives to distract us. Well, if I can be over here, maybe drinking too much or eating too much, then I'm just caught up in that drama too. I'm telling myself that this is like helping me feel better, but then I'm creating a lot of drama over here that I'm then now focused on the consequence of, and this whole thing. Or you're the people pleaser or the controlling type that's just over here, trying to just be in other people's business, however you show up doing that. That creates a lot of drama and focus and energy. And then you've got the excuse of, I didn't have enough time, I can't do that thing because I'm so busy over here doing this thing. Think about it. These are what they call shadow addictions or secondary benefits of having a lot of drama and anxiety in your life. And anxiety, I like to say, is just wisdom wearing different clothes. It is trying to show you and tell you something. And I think that's what David was recognizing in I'm trying to show you the sunrise there and the water. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. In this little, almost like a parable, in this example of the weaned child, that's going up to another level of maturity. The child has learned through his mother's teaching that, hey, you're going to be okay. He's got enough experience. Oh, I'm not going to starve to death. He's grown a little bit in his understanding of the world and how to even relate to his own emotions and physical state. And he's able to breathe and self-soothe and calm down. And knowing that he's not going to die, or he or she. And we can do the same thing. We can catch ourselves, what's going on here? I might be a little prideful, thinking that I belong over here. This person needs me to be doing all of this stuff, whether it's micromanaging, controlling, pleasing, fixing, over functioning over in somebody else's lane, or maybe even in God's lane, because we've got a lot of big things going on in our world currently right now. And if you feed too much of the news into your life, you're probably one of those that's running around like Chicken Little. The sky is falling, the sky is falling. But today is actually a really good day. It's a good day when we know something bad needed to happen in order for the better thing to arrive. And God gave me the verse of 1 John 4:4 today also during my prayer time. And greater is he who is in me than is in the world. That is what Good Friday is all about. In order for the Holy Spirit to arrive and for us to have access to that Holy Spirit and power within us and that wisdom, Good Friday had to happen. Because this is the greater thing that we actually have access to. And then our survival brain and all the things that happen in our lives freak us out because we let them freak us out. And we do have the ability to see the wisdom in what's happening if we're willing to be honest, because admitting that you're prideful and arrogant and all of those other things, that's not easy. We don't like to admit our faults and that human side of that negative human side of us, that the survival brain. And again, the intent of the survival brain is good. It wants you to survive, and it doesn't deal well with the unknowns. So it would rather stay stuck in what it knows and all the drama that is familiar to you. But if you can take a deep breath and remind yourself, oh, this is not my business. I'm getting in somebody else's business, whether it's God's, another person, literally maybe a business that you're involved in. And you've got to calm yourself down and remind yourself that Easter's coming. The better thing is coming. If there's one thing that is constant in our human world and life on earth, is change. Change, change, change. So learn to make friends with it. Learn to calm yourself down and know that things are going to be okay. You are not God. It's not all depending on you. It's not all on your shoulders. This doesn't mean that we don't care and that we're not active and involved and engaged with life. We're just focused on what we are called to do. And if we could all get that focused, can you imagine? Can you imagine how this world would be? Instead, we're all like bumper cars, just going all over and bumping each other off of our missions. That's the lie of Satan, and he doesn't want us focused. So, I don't know. That's the message that I needed to hear on Good Friday, because I definitely am one that can easily get off track and overwhelmed and then go back to old ways of being. But I don't get mad at myself about it anymore, because I understand how the brain works and what my brain is trying to do. So I can really calm down. I can stay calm. I can go, oh, thank you. And then I can look at the wisdom that it's showing me. Where am I getting in somebody else's business, in God's business? And remind myself, okay, I can calm down here. This is not the end of the world. Even though sometimes it seems like it, legitimately, we know that it's not. And the things, even in the cycle of life, as we're going into spring, I'll do this one last analogy and then I'll end it. Like, we've got the cycle of life. We've got to go through winter seasons. And so rebirth and growth can happen again. New growth, new things need to emerge. But in order for something new to emerge, you've got to let go of the old. And letting go it's hard, it's painful, but this is also where a lot of the magic happens. And you can't see it necessarily when you're in it. You've just got to trust and give it to God. Like, oh God, this is above my pay grade. I don't really understand it. I don't like it, but I'm going to trust. And I'm going to pay attention also, because again, that gets your focus back in your lane and on what you're supposed to learn, and paying attention to your lessons and your own growth, because somebody else out there is depending on you getting to your next level and showing up fully in your life. That's what it's all. We depended on Jesus following through and doing what he was told to do, as awful as it was, so that we could become the beneficiaries of something even greater. That's some powerful stuff. And we can all take a little life application from Jesus. Jesus, our life coach. He helps us rise and shine. And if you're going to rise, I do believe you might as well shine just like he did. There's no thing. Oh, man. All right. I got to end it there. I love you guys. Have a really great Good Friday, and I'll see you tomorrow. But have a blessed day.